Hello everyone, Marvin Zingwese here. Today we're at ClubCraft Golf and I want to talk to you guys about the first step to any custom fitting that we do here at ClubCraft. The first step is going to be speccing out what the person has in the bag, what they've been playing with for X amount of time, whether that be weeks, months, or even years. It really helps identify how that set makeup has, to some extent, developed their golf game. So the first step is going to be figuring out how long their clubs are. Length is very important because of posture. We don't want the person to be too bent over because the club is too short, or maybe standing up too much because it's a little bit too long. Also, the second step is going to be shaft frequency. Now, with shafts, they can either be too soft or too stiff. We want to match it according to the person's club head speed. If a person is too fast, that club might lag too much if it's too soft, and that might create some dispersion issues, which is something we see a lot. Very rarely do we see a club that's too stiff for somebody, but a lot of times it's way too soft for the person's ability, and it might hinder their progress a little bit. When it comes to swing weight is basically going to be how heavy the golf club feels when they grab onto it. If the club is too heavy, for somebody who's weaker or junior or an older person, somebody with not so much club head speed, they might find it very difficult to move that golf club around their body. And when it comes to playing golf after 15, 16 holes, they might start getting a little bit too tired. Same thing if a person has a lot of speed, they don't want to be playing a club that's too light, because then it's going to be very hard for them to judge the mass of that club head. Where is that club head? And it might be very difficult for them to square up the face. So very important to get that swing weight correct depending on what kind of player you have. The fourth and fifth is going to be loft and lie. Now loft is, again, we want to be able to gap distances appropriately. So if wedges are going to have 5 degrees in between them, 9 to 6, for example, irons are going to have 4 degrees in between them, and then the longer clubs possibly 3. We want that to be exact. A lot of times people hit one club the same as the other, and we find out that the lofts aren't really that much different. So we need to get that checked frequently, especially if they're forged irons, which will tend to move over time. And then lie angle is important because if I grab a club here with a pitching wedge, let's say the lie angle is a little bit too upright. In that case, the toe is going to be looking way up, which is not a good thing. We might start seeing some shots that go a little bit too far to the left, and the person might end up developing this kind of lifting of the hands technique in their golf swing in order to make the club work for them. So it won't help them in terms of developing a consistent golf swing. Same thing if the club is a little bit too flat, the person might end up feeling like the toe is digging in too much. So the last thing we want to do is look at that maybe on a lie board like fitters used to do in the past and fit that, right? Because that would be fitting a flaw. So whenever we see that, we might want to correct that technical issue in their golf swing before we look at the proper lie angle. All right? So that's pretty much the first step to any custom tour fitting that we do here at ClubCraft. Very important to create a baseline to find out what that person's been using. And then from that, our aim is to improve on what we saw, right? So in order to justify recommending any new combination of a golf club, all right? We need to be able to quantify change in order to justify any purchase of new golf clubs, new shafts, or whatever it may be. So again, if you guys are ever down here in Jupiter, Florida, please visit us here at ClubCraft Golf, and it would be a pleasure to have you guys with us. Until next time, hit 'em well, guys.